Hey folks, it's Matt once again and coming at you with another DVD review. Now the last time I had talked about one that I thought was disappointing, Andre the Giant, which I put in the info box but I didn't mention in the video. That was pretty much a reissue of an old VHS tape. And granted, Andre the Giant is not like a favorite of mine, like I wouldn't put him in my top 10, but I thought, you know, I still like him. And he deserves a decent DVD release. I mean, he's Andre the Giant. For example, granted, he's a newer superstar of wrestling. The Big Show, A Giant's World. This is a 3 DVD set that's pretty damn good. And even then, like, I'll say The Big Show is not like a favorite of mine. I wouldn't put him in my top 10 favorites or such. But I liked him. I will say he's able to do a lot more in the ring than Andre the Giant could. And watching this gave me new respect for the guy. Like I said, it's a 3-disc set from his days in WCW to his days in WWE. Now, what you get in this set, you get an hour-long documentary, which I thought was actually pretty good, and dealing with how his family moved a lot, and he had this tumor in the pituitary gland. He was like 6 feet 2 inches tall when he was 12 years old, and unfortunately for people like Andre the Giant, it was too late. They weren't, maybe the technology as well wasn't there. But he was able to get to it before it really became a health hazard. So doctors actually lasered the tumor, and that's the which made him grow so much, or gargantuism, I think is what it's called, or giantism. I think it's called giantism. And the way he described it about how like going through here and cutting a piece off and going in and lasering it, and it just sounds painful. I mean, they probably had him under, but it sounds painful. About how before, because of what was going on with his body, he was really good with sports, really good with basketball and such. But after that, he before when he could eat, didn't gain any weight. When that did happen, then he was gaining weight like crazy, and it took him a lot more effort to stay somewhat in shape. And how, because of this, no more playing basketball. And he actually sold cars. Yes, the Big Show sold cars, used cars, which I thought that was kind of interesting. And how his bank account was so crappy at that point that he actually, one point, made a toothpaste sandwich. Then it talks about how he got into WCW, how that turned out, and talks about his time in WCW a little bit. Now, I think when I first saw this, the documentary I saw was the same, but it was much shorter the first time I saw it. I think I saw it somewhere online, actually. It was only 40 minutes long, but this is at least an hour long, so it was definitely longer than the one I had seen previously. And they talked a little bit more about his WCW days. Now, it didn't go into any feuds or anything like that, but again, it showed quite a bit of his. Well, I should say quite a bit. It showed a little bit of his WCW. Maybe that could have gone a little bit longer, like a little bit more of the feuds, like going to NWO, then going back, and so forth. I think they could have showed a little bit more of that. Maybe another 5-10 minutes. Get a little bit more in depth. But still nice to see. And about how he came to WWE and his first time there was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre match with Stone Cold versus McMahon, and the Big Show was hiding under the ring and pops out and tries to take out Stone Cold, but Stone Cold wins. And about how he thought he knew stuff in WCW, but he had to really get himself re-educated, and he learned from people like Undertaker, and his feud with the Big Boss Man, leading to that moment where the Big Boss Man stole Big Show's his dad's coffin and is riding off through the graveyard, and Big Show got on and falls off. Talks about him winning the belt, the championship belt. Talks about how he had a comedic side and the certain comedic sides that they were able to let him do. Talks about how he's getting a little bit too big for his britches, so kind of as a punishment they put him into this OVW, which is Ohio Valley Wrestling, and you see a little bit of that, and you see just how much of a different venue, how much of a smaller, tinier venue it is compared to WWE, and that's where you learn to, not get too carried away. To appreciate it a bit more. Talks about the moment where him and Brock Lesnar and the ring breaks, where Brock Lesnar put him up superplex off the top turnbuckle and the whole ring broke. Then it talks about a little bit, not really his personal life, but like he has a bus, his own personal bus, his training, his feud with Floyd Mayweather, which resulted in a match in WrestleMania. A little bit of how he was getting into the movies, and he was in The Waterboy, and Henry Winkler was a fan of his. And Henry Winkler sounds like a nice guy. And sort of get into the, the movies. What was that movie? Knucklehead, and which looks like lame movie that I do not ever care to see. But interesting documentary. I mean, it's a little over an hour long, but got enough information. It didn't feel short in a good way. It didn't feel rushed in a good way. It felt like you got as much information as you needed about the Big Show. And I didn't talk about every single thing, but I thought you got a lot of good stuff in there. And it was interesting to watch, even though I don't mind the Big Show, but getting a little bit more respect for him after watching this. And it was really cool to see. I mean, I like these wrestling documentaries. Kind of want to collect as many as I can. Now, this also has 2 more DVDs, which are matches. And I want to see if I can find the whole list, because I forgot they didn't show on here the whole list of what was on here from matches, just in case people were interested. I can at least list them. I'm not going to go through every single match, because it would just take too long, but I can at least maybe look at a list. But you got Halloween Havoc 1995, the Sumo Monster Truck Competition, the Giant versus Hulk Hogan, because when he was in WCW, he was titled as the son of Andre the Giant. Of course, made sense to face off against Hulk Hogan. Oh, here's a giant. Let's make him the son of Andre the Giant, and that he wants revenge, and which is a pretty decent hook. Not much of a match. I mean, again, it's like, okay, a sumo truck thing. Just one of those stupid ideas. Which actually is in another DVD that I'll talk about, so I'll talk about more when I talk about this one, which this was a lot of fun to watch, this one. And I'm going to have a lot of fun reviewing this one. And then that same night, there was an actual heavyweight champion match between Hulk Hogan and the Giant. This is when Hulk Hogan was a good guy in WCW. Ric Flair versus the Giant, and on Nitro. The Giant versus Sting on Slamboree. The Great American Bash. The Giant versus Lex Luger. Big Show versus Stone Cold Steve Austin on Raw, which that was fun to watch. The Undertaker versus Big Show on Raw in 1999. Triple H versus The Big Show versus The Rock at Survivor Series 99. That's where he won the championship. Big Show versus Kurt Angle at Backlash 2000. Brock Lesnar versus Big Show at Survivor Series 2002. Big Show versus Rey Mysterio on Backlash 2003. Eddie Guerrero versus Big Show at No Mercy 2003. SmackDown 2004, Big Show returns. No Mercy 2004, Big Show versus Kurt Angle. Let's see. Team Champions Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch versus Big Show and Kane. Big Show versus Triple H at New Year's Revolution 2006. His little run in the new ECW, and where he beat Rob Van Dam. SummerSlam 2006, Big Show versus Sabu. WrestleMania 24, Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. SmackDown 2009, Big Show versus Kofi Kingston. Raw 2009, Big Show versus Rey Mysterio. Hell in a Cell 2009, Big Show and Chris Jericho versus Batista and Rey Mysterio. Elimination match, Diaz versus Big Show and The Miz versus CM Punk and Luke Gallows. SummerSlam 2010, 3-on-1 handicap match, Big Show versus CM Punk, Luke Gallows, and Joseph Mercury. And no, I'm not going through all of those matches, but again, not going to be a long review. I mean, I'm going to try to make these reviews not that long because they kind of speak for themselves, but just give a couple thoughts on it, letting you know what's on these DVDs, how long, like the documentary, it's an hour long. And I guess, hey, if you're even a little bit of a fan, I mean, my point is this is a well done DVD. I mean, that's a lot of matches for a guy like the Big Show. That's a lot of matches. I mean, it's really packed with stuff. And then you have an hour-long documentary, which has a lot of cool bits of information on it. I thought they did a really good job with this. A Giant's World. And that's just my couple thoughts on that. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more wrestling reviews, because the reason I'm doing wrestling reviews is just I'm burned out on movies. I really am. I'm just burned out on movies. I mean, come on, folks. I have almost 2,000 videos on here. It's understandable for me to get a little bit burned out on movies. But either I can give you nothing, or I can at least talk about something. And this is something. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and see you in the next video. Later.